JB here. Hope I was doing outstanding. December 10th, 2024. It's about 9 o'clock. Really quick 10-minute rant. I apologize for the watch list this morning. I had some issues. I had it all ready. I hit the publish, and for some reason, there was some issue. I go back, it's blank. And so I had to really quick try to at least get some of the stuff redone. So apologies for that. I'll try and go over some of the names, but I don't have much time here either. So I'll just talk really quick. But take a look at the S&P futures. Market's kind of slightly in the green here this morning after yesterday's epic sell-off, right? Market Watch has their headlines. Beneath the hood, stocks just suffered their worst day of the year. Some are worried, you know. So of course, what does that do? It makes people click that. I mean, it's just typical behavior. I'm not saying there's not a possible risk for downside at some point. It could be some continuation here today, but it just preys into the emotions of folks, right? The markets. I mean, the S&P is it tested levels not seen since Wednesday of last week, and people are already pounding the chest on a bear call and a correct, all this stuff. It comes out of woodwork on the first sign of blood, right? So always important to keep your emotions in check, and just for me, it's sticking to support resistance on the SPY, and obviously look at you know overall is the VIX, the yields, all that stuff together to come up with some kind of risk scenario. So if we do have some kind of risk off scenario, you're not in a position where we get caught with our proverbial pants down. So take a look at a SPY, and I was putting on the watch list yesterday morning too. At some point, I'll put in some more resistance, but it's been tough because the S&P has been breaking into uncharted territory. But the 604 handle from last week, or I would say around 605 is an area, one spot, and then that 600 is like a key threshold. So I don't want to see us break under the 600 threshold. If that happens, I'll be looking for probably multiple hedge positions just to offset some of the other calls that I do have. I mean, is there a scenario where we pull under that? I mean, possibly. You look at yesterday's sell-off, there wasn't much in the way of catalyst. Yields upticked just a little bit, and then you had that NVIDIA news of a anti-monopoly probe from China government, which, I mean, I put NVIDIA down now that NVIDIA is part of, it's a bigger component. I guess that's some of it, but also what you saw is a lot of the names that had worked well over the last 2 to 3 weeks, the PLTRs, most of the crypto names, Coin, MicroStrategy, AppLovin, all those names that have been bonkers or went on bonkers runs, I guess you would call it, were the ones that really got hurt the most. And some of these names were up a lot to open yesterday and then reverse those gains into the red. Same with the quantum computing names, right? IONQ, trying to think of some of the other names. So I don't know if that's just repositioning ahead of the end of the year. You have some big winners. You're trying to do some tax loss selling, so take some off the winners so you can offset some of the losers that you have. Who knows? But we'll find out, get some more answers here today if the market can at least find some footing. I still think that 610 is going to come, but obviously yesterday takes a little confidence or conviction out of that. Hopefully we get a solider session today. And I guess I always try to look at a silver lining. It was another tight trading session yesterday. The S&P, well, the SPY hit 607.86 high and a 604 58 low. So a $3 trading range. Again, another 0.5% trading range, which the whole big picture is minuscule, right? We've had 2% sell-off days, which have much wider ranges. So not much in the way of that. So I think that's kind of if there was some selling, was more, not broad-based selling, right? And there was a lot of names that were green yesterday on my watch list. Small caps down 0.5%, so somewhat, I call it outperformance, but just didn't perform as badly. So now some individual names, and I have ROKU first, but ROKU flat as a pancake, pretty remarkable. Yesterday afternoon, there was a huge block that hit. The stock dropped $2 in a matter of like 15 seconds and then recouped that. We'll see how it trades here today. I still think it heads to 90 this week, but going to have to start moving here soon. I don't know if it's going to need a kick in the butt, but it is green here in the pre-market. But it rallied up near almost 87 yesterday, right? 86.75. So hopefully we can recoup that area, get over that today. Clear secure. I mean, the more I look at the chart and I start looking at the fundamentals and things like that, the more I think this is going to head over $30 in the coming days. Tight Bollinger Band setup. Once that breaks, it's going to be a large move. It's going to be over $30. So I put on the watch. If it gets over 28 again, I'll probably look to get some more strikes. The premiums have come out a little bit since the Roaring Kitty speculation from last week. I added BIDU strikes yesterday, and I was looking at the chart and some of the China ADR, all the China ADR names are running out of the gate yesterday morning. I was looking at NetEase as a possibility, but then I looked at the BIDU chart and it was over its 50-day. Then it was over its 200-day for a little bit or getting close. That's when I went and added the calls. Still close over the 50-day, but then it seems like some of the enthusiasm over the China comments around their what they plan to do to help stimulate their economy kind of the air came out of the balloon a little bit. And some of the China stock, well, the China ADRs are gapping lower this morning. I'm still hopeful here. So, uh, Baidu's here at $89. If it gets back over 90, I might look for some later dated strikes there because at some point it's going to go back on one of those epic runs and not pull back, right? So it's going to be 110, 115, 120. So that's Baidu. I also got some SolarEdge calls. I've been talking about SolarEdge for the last 2 or 3 weeks. It's high shorted name, 34% short interest. It's been trying to break out. It tried to break out end of November into December, all the way up to near 16 after they announced some cost-cutting measures. And then it started to bounce, squeeze again, moved higher on Friday, and then squeeze again yesterday. And then the more I looked, I'm like, if this breaks 16 again, it's going to be off the races to the 20. So I got some spec lotto calls. We'll see how it trades here today. Hopefully, if it can find a bid, set off the shorts and head up near $20 in the next week or two. Not much to add here on block. Square I was talking about yesterday too, or even into last week. It's got to break and hold 100, and then I'll add some more strikes. But surprisingly enough, I mean, it was down 2%, but then you look at the other names that could be, construed as crypto plays, were down substantially more. So hopefully it finds its footing here today, can get back up near that 100 handle. And once that breaks and holds, I'll be adding more strikes. Unity Software was up 13 of the last 14 sessions. Then yesterday made it 13 of the last 15 sessions. Not a bad day considering, only down 1%. And the monster run it's been on. Still holding a couple of those January strikes. And who knows, again, if Warren Kitty's going to come out with some kind of stake position, you have to think it's going to come out soon. So, but still, I like this for $30. If premiums continue to evaporate, I'll look for more strikes into probably further past January. Not much here to add on Teladoc either. Under its 200-day moving average intraday yesterday, and then back above it. As long as that 200-day holds, I think at some point it's going to get a little kickstart and then start outperforming again. And I think $15 into 2025. Lock most of those calls, well, some of the calls in to cover some of the costs. I'll continue to hold those strikes. And then Travelzoo was down nearly 7% yesterday. It's a low volume name, so it doesn't take much for it to sell off or go higher because someone, part of my French, if someone farts, it moves, right? So I just didn't like the way the market was yesterday, so I kind of held off on adding strikes, but at some point I'll be adding strikes into 2025 there. I think that's it. Tomorrow we get CPI data. I mean, who knows? It's funny, the CPI data wouldn't mean much if we were rallying if we rallied yesterday and today and headed into tomorrow. But if we have another reversal today and we break 600 on a SPY, the CPI data is going to be the most important data piece of 2024, right? It's just how it works. I hope that's not the case, but I think it'll be somewhat of a non-event. There's earnings too. Earnings continue to come out. Last night you had MDB, you had AI, which actually, wow, it's reversed down to 37. MDB was looking great too. That reversed. Oracle reported earnings. That one's in the red, so we'll have to see. AutoZone reported this morning. Not going to talk about AutoZone because every time I look at AutoZone, I look at it through my bear goggles because I think at some point it's going to have a pullback. All right, that's it, folks. I'll be back on audio later. Let's have a great day. 20 minutes to the open. Rock and roll.